for how long?
Like
For 5 years.
Like, I got a promise ring.
I mean, 5 years, like, I feel like you guys probably trust each other then, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's probably a lot of trust built up. Well, listen, are you down to see if your girlfriend is on any dating apps?
I'm down. Pull it up. Come
No,
on.
like, yeah, it's getting late.
It's going to be using Cheater Buster AI, and it's basically going to use AI to tell us if she's on any dating
You don't
apps.
trust me?
I mean, I trust you,
So
but
why do we have to check?
I'm going to need a little info about her, though, first, though. So, like, what's her name?
No.
Talia,
Her name's Talia? How old are you?
No,
18.
Pennsylvania? And I just got to get a picture of you, just so, like, the AI can connect. Yeah. All right, it's loading right now. Like, you nervous at all? Like,
I'm not nervous.
know. Like, are you on anything? Like, what's
No.
wrong with you?
wait, hold up. Is this your Tinder profile?
No, that's not
Are you
me.
kidding me for real,
Somebody
Talia?
must have made that.
No, this is selfie verified. You put your ID.
We're done. Like, for real,
No,
we're
like,
done.
that's not me.
We're done. Give me all this stuff.
Why?
I want you. Take this promise. We're done.
No.
We're done. You ruined it. You're done.
This is verified.
You, Talia. That is you.
No.
Alright guys, I'm gonna try to be consistent with videos now. I'm gonna try to be very consistent because, like, as I said in the last video, I have to reprogram my mind to basically want good for myself. I'll say that. I know it's hard to believe, but just being, for example, being African, being Muslim, being of a different thought process, or I guess you can say being a different school of thought, would honestly get you enemies, give you people who didn't like you for simply being you. People who didn't like you for simply not following the rest. And I realized that now that I'm here, and now that I'm trying my best to establish myself, which I will by the grace and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that people in America, especially, definitely in America, I will say people, it's kind of weird, actually, when I look at things full circle, okay? I guess it's hypocritical. Yes, I will say it's hypocritical. Because the West, for example, I'm just going to say this about the West. The West champions itself for being, I guess you can say, an exemplar of freedom, democracy, human rights, standards, liberalism, and opportunity for everybody. It packages itself in that way. It gives that impression. Yes. Now, it was weird because I found the reality quite different for myself. I, of course, had to work 10 times harder than, your regular American. And, of course, I had to work smarter as well. That's the most important thing, was to work smarter. And also, I had to work in a clandestine manner that I was going to leave And it's weird to me. It was very weird to me because I'm a book guy, and that's the one thing that I kind of regret. But it is what it is. I will build it back up. I will build my library back up. You know, when I left the West, I had a cold library. You know, I had every type of book you can think of in pertaining to African affairs, you know, be it Amilcar Cabral, be it Fidel Castro, be it Thomas Sankara, be it Patrice Lumumba, be it even the origins and the how should I put it, the nucleus behind Boko Haram. I had all of that, okay? I had every type of book you can think of in regards to the global South, in regards to internationalism. I had every single one you can think of across all the continents, be it Latin America, be it Africa, be it Asia, be it former USSR, Soviet Union. Okay, I had to leave that behind, unfortunately, because had I taken all my books, I would have been paying damn near probably $1,000+ for the extra cost for luggage. Okay, I brought a few books, some core religious ones, basically. Yes, I brought them. Now, I used to be intensely involved in reading these books, be it I read it at the cafe, be it I read it on the airplane, on flights, be it that I read them just anywhere, you know. And what I noticed is that it bothered Black American women, and it also bothered white American women, and it also bothered white American men, but it also bothered some Black American men too, because they're of I guess you can say that one rapper, Baby from Cash Money, he's of the effect that books won't help you. But, you know, like, books gave me some of my best ideas, and honestly, some books gave me help shape the way I think in certain matters. And some books, I mean, I don't think Allah, of course, is the ultimate factor behind it, but I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for books, you know. Maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I never knew, and I'll be ignorant. I'm gonna admit that, yes, maybe I was ignorant of such things, but I never knew that, you know, Russia was not really, quote unquote, a country in a traditional sense, but it was more of a federation with different republics and with different people. People being from diverse backgrounds, people being from different religious beliefs. They even have Buddhism here, you know. They have a autonomous republic where the major religion is Buddhism. Maybe I'll visit it, I don't know. But I guess what I'm trying to get at, this is what I'm really trying to get at, is it appears to me, for some reason, and I know this is going to be kind of weird to say, but it appears to me that for some reason, white Americans and also men and women both, and also, unfortunately, Muslims who have been indoctrinated by white Americans. But it appeared to me that if you express a desire to want to do better for yourself, if you express a desire to want to improve organically with integrity, that they were against it and they want you to be ignorant, even if your improvement was done through self-education, you know. It was weird to me, although I never viewed my political, although I never like vocalized my political views, you know, I never vocalized them. You know, of course I voted with my feet by leaving America. And I also, I guess, maybe expressed myself through my clothing. I have my former country's prime minister, Modibo Keita, on a sweatshirt. Thomas Sankara, Amilcar Cabral, Fidel Castro, the Cuban patriot, Antonio Maceo Grajales, one of my favorite guys. And damn, I regret leaving that book behind with Antonio Maceo Grajales. But as they say, you know, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, he says that, like, if, you know, he's going to replace it with something better. So inshallah, I'm praying that he does do so. Because Antonio Maceo Grajales, I can do a whole YouTube live about him, because Antonio Maceo Grajales, he too made hijrah, you know, I think he lived in Costa Rica, he lived in Honduras, he lived in a couple of places. And yes, Antonio Maceo Grajales, he was a black Cuban who was responsible for the foundation of Cuban independence from the Spanish. Very, very good figure, you know, very, very influential figure, very, very much a figure I really like. I really like Antonio Maceo Grajales a lot, yes. And I guess once I get better at Russian and have a very, very good sound understanding, I'll start getting books in Russian to, you know, enrich myself of these figures. But what I'm trying to get at is, it just seemed like they didn't want you to leave. It seemed like they didn't want you to leave for some reason. It seemed like that, although they hated you, okay, I'm going to be honest, they do hate you, no matter what they say, no matter if they try to bring this image of solidarity, peace, and stuff like that, and that they want nothing but peace, that they want nothing but cooperation, that they want nothing but brotherhood. They did hate you. The average white American, the average both men and women, they did hate you. The thing I had to get over uncertainty to leave. You know, I had to get over that. And that's just basically what happened, you know, with me. I got over it. I'm like, you know what? I had to just really lock in. But it always baffled me, okay? This very much always baffled me. Why would you want someone to stay that you dislike, but when that person is opting to leave, it seems like you're doing everything in your power to get him to stay? It was very weird to me. I found that very, very weird. It's as if, I guess you can say, they got a rise or it's as if they got a rush seeing you suffer, seeing the pain in your eyes, seeing the stress in your eyes, seeing the solemn, the gloomy facial expression. It's as if they like that for some reason. It's if they, you know, that if you wanted good for yourself, which was lawful good for yourself, then they disliked it. Like, for example, me, you know, did I want to be married in America? At one point I did, yes. At one point I wanted it. But that quickly deteriorated. Okay? It quickly did that. Because you heard the same broken record. There's still good ones out there. This, that, and the four. Oh, that's not true for all women. This, that, and the four. And unfortunately, it was true for all of the women there, including the Muslim ones. Okay? But now that I reflect on my experience, I say to myself, Wallahi Adim, I have to do everything in my power to basically set up a base here and set up a base back home in Africa. I didn't tell them where I was going when I left. I didn't even tell them I was leaving. But it was just weird how, you know, they were. I'm going to end this video because it was weird in the sense that they see what they're pushing is not working. They see what they're doing is not working in their favor. They see that what is going on is not producing positive results, but yet they're still doing it over and over and over and over again. Whereas Allah says in the Quran, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, in Allah, I believe I'm remembering it from my head. I think he says, in Allah, la gairu bin qawmin hata yugairu ma bi anfusihum. And what that translates to is Allah does not change the condition of a people until they change what's inside themselves. And that's what I was trying to do when I was there. And I guess I had to take it a step further. I guess changing inside what's inside myself meant I had to exit, okay? And when I did exit, and now that I am exited for good, inshallah, I have to change what's inside of me. And it will be easier to change what's inside of me. I have to now expect good to happen. I have to now just really have a good opinion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because I swear to Allah, Wallahi adim ladhi la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyu qayyum, it was hard for me to have a good opinion of Allah when I was there, okay? It was very difficult to have a good opinion of Allah when I was there. Very, 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 very hard, okay? Now, I have to program myself that I'm here to have a good opinion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And inshallah, that good opinion will produce the necessary results, okay? That's the thing. When I was on the plane, going to Qatar, on the way here, I was just trying to have a good opinion of Allah. When I was on the plane to UAE, Sharjah, I was trying to have a good opinion of Allah. And now that I'm here, I have to have even a better opinion of Allah. It was just very, very difficult to have a good opinion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the West. Very hard. And you know what's messed up? People made it hard for you to have a good opinion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because they didn't have a religion. And even the ones who claim to have a religion didn't have a religion. Even the ones who claim to be Christian didn't have a religion. Didn't have the Christianity that amazingly is still here in Russia, where the women cover their head, where, you know, these things, these traditions are still here. And let's not mention that Islam is the second biggest religion here. Okay? But now that I think about it, I'm praying, and I will just proceed in doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope Allah is guiding me. I hope the hand of Allah is upon me. Okay? But I just never got it. I just never got it. Why they were like that. I never got it because I was under the impression that you should want what's good for your fellow man. That you should want the same thing that you want for yourself, for your fellow man. That's what I was always under impression. But it just didn't seem like they wanted it for their fellow man. You know? It was weird to me. And I'm going to end on this note, and then unfortunately, unfortunately, this is very unfortunate. And I'm gonna tell this story, and then I'm gonna end on this note. You know, I will end on this note. Like, people, you know, there were certain white people who made my life difficult in the West, that it made you so kind of bitter that you took it to Allah and you prayed, you made dua against them, you know? You made dua against them. You just said, you know what? Since I'm not going to do anything physically or do anything that's going to jeopardize me getting out of here, I have to take it to Allah. So I made dua against them, you know, and left it up to Allah to see what their fate will be, you know? And, you know, even to this day, I still sometimes do that because of the fact that you want, perfect example. There was this one guy, passive aggressive guy. He was very passive aggressive, okay? Passive aggressive white guy. Racism through his pores. He gave me like a hard time, so I said, okay, I got you. So that very night I prayed, okay? I did a supplication. That night, okay? A couple of days later, bro loses his job. So that's what it came to, you know? And yeah, but inshallah, probably on Friday, I will give some more video of my excursions here, and, you know, inshallah, you know, things will be good. I don't really want to be one of those guys to, how should I put it? I don't want to really be one of those passport bros to like just show how I'm living and stuff like that. I don't want to do that to make it look like I'm rich rolling and stuff like that and just showing like, oh, I'm balling out of control. No, I don't want to do that. The Fulani Sahelian way is to keep your wealth concealed. And that's what I want to do. So with that being said, Sahel signing out, and I'll be back on the next one. Njada.